Hello everyone and welcome to Aussie Cake Decorating. Today I'm going to show you another filler flower called a blossom. Now the blossom comes in plunger cutters and other sorts of cutters, but they're basically a 5-petal blossom cutter, and I've got a set of 4 which enable you to do a graduated size on the same stem. So using this one just to show you how easy it is to do it in a size that you can see, you roll out your modelling paste very thin and then you simply cut it out by pressing down. Make sure it's a good clean cut, then pick the whole thing up and push it out with the plunger onto your foam. Now to shape it, get one of your small ball tools that will just fit about the size of that petal, and what we do is just push it in and give it a little bit of a rub on every petal, not too hard. And then turn it over and push it in the centre. And as you can see, that cups the petals up quite nicely. Then we just put a stamen in the middle and leave it to dry. Now here's one I've prepared earlier. I've actually taped the stem as well. So you've made your flower, you've put a stamen in the middle, you've taped the back of the stamen. The next thing to do is to get a very small paintbrush and just paint a calyx on the back of it. So what I use to paint the calyx on the back of the flower is some royal icing that I've coloured green. Just dip a paintbrush in, pick up the flower and turn it upside down because it's easier to apply then, and just a very small amount around the bottom of the flower. And just sit that upside down until it dries, which will only be 5 or 10 minutes maximum. And then you can colour your flowers and wire them into a sprig. Once your flowers have dried, it's time to just paint a little bit of green petal dust on the inside of the flower around the stamen. Now it might not look very green straight off, but once it's steamed that will come up and look very, very lifelike. Just blow off any excess so that you don't have too much in there. So you have the green colour on the very inside, and I'm going to colour these different shades of pink because I plan on doing a bouquet for the top of a cake. Now you can just dip the flower in the petal dust like that and tap off the excess, and that'll give you a beautiful pale shimmer once it's all been steamed. Or you can use a very soft paintbrush to just brush some of the petal dust onto the petals of the flowers. Now in order to wire these flowers as a sprig, you need some fine florist wire. And this is covered in a green tape already, so I don't need to tape this one. So I cut my wire about 5 inches long, and then I take my florist tape and the smallest flower to start the sprig, and I just start winding the tape onto the smallest flower first and then add the wire like that, and that means I've got something that I can attach the rest of the flowers to. So once you've wound a little way down, you've got that wire going, add another flower, maybe a graduating size, like a bigger size up. And just keep twisting the wire in one hand and holding the tape in the other hand. And then you've got the smallest flower and a bigger flower. And it's probably a good idea to put one of this size on the other side as well, just a little further down the wire. Then wind a little further down and go up another size. And keep twisting. And do another one that size as well. And when you get to the bottom of that, now's the time to add the largest ones, because that's how they grow. And don't worry about where they're sitting on the stem at the moment, because we can rearrange that in a moment with our tweezers. And one more large one. And then just wrap the tape all the way to the base of the wire. So you've left yourself roughly 2 inches of wire to poke into the posy that you're going to be putting the flowers into. And just break off the tape. And there's your completed sprig of flowers. Now, using your tweezers, just rearrange those flowers a little so that they stick out in all the right directions for you. And there you have it. Now the only thing left to do, and it's a lot easier to do when they're already wired into a sprig, is just steam the colour to set the colour. So what you do is you boil your kettle or a saucepan with some water, and when there's steam coming out of it, you just hold the sprig very, very gently and turn it like that for no more than 5 to 6 seconds. If it's any longer, the steam will actually melt the modelling paste and you'll find that your flowers have just died. So be very, very careful. So I'll do that now over the kettle, and I'll bring it back and show you how vibrant the colours turned out. So once the flowers have been wired into a sprig and coloured, I steamed them over the kettle, and as you can see, the colours have set, and they're going to be a very pale pastel pink colour. But that is what they look like once they've all been wired together. They look very authentic and very sweet. Just be very careful when you're steaming the flowers over the kettle, because you can get a nasty burn that way. But just a few seconds at a time, and it doesn't really matter how many flowers you put on each sprig. You can make some with 1 or 2 flowers, you can make some single, or you can have 7, 5, whatever you like, so long as you have a variety to choose from when you're arranging them on your cake.